Welcome to An Accidental Vagabond, where we explore the mosaic of our unexpected journeys. This is the USA Road Tripper series. If you're interested in seeing any of the other videos, check the links in the description below. This is Day 11, Iowa to Illinois. Like, subscribe, and comment for more content. Today's journey started in Sway City, Iowa, and ended at Kayak Starving Rock Campsite in Illinois. Iowa, the Hawkeye State, whose capital is Des Moines, or Des Moines if you're crazy, just kidding Iowans. The highest point is Hawkeye Point at 1,670 feet or 509 meters. The largest city is Des Moines. When I think of the Hawkeye State, I think college basketball, corn, potatoes, and basement bands. Hello to all my Iowa friends. Few interesting things about Iowa. It became the 29th state in 1846. The name Iowa comes from the Iowa tribe, and according to radio station 98.1 K-Hawk, you can see a hula hoop tree off Country Road E23 and a disappointed woman head on I-80 eastbound outside of Iowa City. I'm disappointed I didn't see either of these things. We woke early in the morning, packed, and headed out to our next stop in Illinois. We took east along Highway 9 to 69, then at a place called Forest City, we took 15 to Interstate 35, where we drove south till we reached the junction for 190, and then on to 18, which turned into 27, which turned southward and eventually turned into Interstate 218 for a bit, and then back into Highway 27. We continued south on 27 until a little past Waterloo. We headed east again for a short bit on 20. Then at Raymond, we switched to Interstate 380 and we stayed on 380 all the way past Cedar Rapids. Hello to all my Cedar Rapids friends. Now some of you might be thinking, why'd Iowa to Illinois take you so long to drive? It seems like you could have done 3 states. After all, they're right next to each other. Well, possibly if you just drove straight and didn't stop for your dog and you had more than one driver, we could probably do a lot more states. But if you've never been to America or driven across America, America is huge. Technically, I think if you drove 24 hours a day non-stop, you might make it in about 3.5 days. But who wants to do that? I'm going to interrupt myself to talk about this wheel cover. It has the faces of the most famous of killer characters from the most famous horror and slasher films, from Freddy Krueger to Pennywise. It even has Captain Spaulding from the House of Thousand Corpses. If you know, you know. Once we arrived in Iowa City, we took a brief stop near the university and went to an independent bookstore called Prairie Lights Books and Cafe. I bought 2 collections of short stories by Raymond Carver and a memoir by Bill Cunningham. Driving past the university, I think how I could have moved to Iowa City so many years ago to go to school for acting. How different my life would have been. But that's in the past. It can be really difficult to get decent footage from the road. Oftentimes, there are these wall barriers that up and you just can't see beyond them unless you were to stand up, which is not possible, or you just can't get a good angle. Now, if I had a camera on the top of the car, it would be possible to get some nice shots, but of course I don't have one of those. Also, it was so hot, we had to keep the windows up to keep cool, but then I would often get a reflection or a glare in the video. I'm doing all this with the least amount of skills and equipment, but for me personally, it's a fun hobby. I like to film it and I like to do the editing, and this voiceover part is new, but I'm enjoying that too. It's fun to look back on, and hopefully someone out there enjoys these videos too. Okay, this portion is for the dog lovers and the cow lovers out there. There's a lot of footage of dogs and grass, dogs rolling in it, cows eating it. Penny had never met a cow before, and these would not be her last. Did the cow move, and that's why she got excited?
That cow looked at Penny like...
When we left Iowa City, we continued on I-80 until we stopped at this rest stop in Wilton, and that's where Penny met all the cows.
That's my boyfriend.
Oh, she's gonna roll. How do you know that's not poop?
Loki! 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 Hey, Pettis. Hey, get hold of yourself. Hey, hey. Okay, that's it.
I did. That was cute. He's really cute. He's posing for a picture. Okay, that's enough for animals. The Wilton rest stop wasn't only about cows. It's also an area where I learned something about Iowa that I had never learned in school. Accidental Vagabonds Travel History Cliff Notes.
Let's go.
This plaque and this plaque give a brief explanation of the Underground Railroad, patchwork quilts, and the message code rest area in Wilton, Iowa. The main building of the rest area resembles an old train depot. It was designed by David B. Dahlquist of Des Moines, Iowa. There are quilt blocks made of terracotta tiles along the front walls that represent the codes of the Underground Railroad used by Quakers and other abolitionists in Cedar County, Iowa, to tell escaping slaves which houses were safe or which directions for them to go. Now, outdoors, all the pavilions have a quilt block on the outside and the family names of the houses that were safe. I knew about the Underground Railroad, but I didn't know about the part Iowa played in the Underground. Iowa bordered Missouri, and Missouri was a slave state. In the 1840s and the 1850s, abolitionists developed a system of stations to help runaway slaves toward the Mississippi River and then on toward Illinois and eventually to freedom. This sign explains the meaning of each quilt design. For example, this is Jacob's Ladder, the route north up to freedom. However, I couldn't find a definition for all of them, like this one I didn't find. This one means bow tie or hourglass, and it means to form a relationship with someone who would help, or the time to meet someone, or the time to change one's clothes to fancy wear. A couple of books mentioned on the plaques that tell the stories of Iowa's part in the Underground Railroad are Hidden in Plain View by Jacqueline L. Tobin and Raymond G. Daubard, Ph.D., and To Go Free, A Treasury of Iowa's Legal Heritage, written by Richard Lord Acton and Patricia Nassiv Acton. We also saw these airplane wings in the Wilton rest stop parking lot. The Mississippi River is the second largest river in the United States. I love rivers. I remember the first time I ever saw the Mississippi River. It was when I went to Mississippi in the 1990s. I remember the water was brown from all the sediments. Illinois. I said, welcome to Illinois. Illinois. Woo! Illinois, land of Lincoln. Its capital is Springfield, and its highest point is Charles Mound at 1,235 feet or 376 meters. With a name like Mound, you don't expect it to be that high of a point. And the largest city, of course, is Chicago. Chicago, baby! We didn't go to Chicago. Not on this whirlwind trip. After all, this was about moving more than traveling. Hence the accidental vagabond part. We followed Interstate 80 east all the way to Illinois. We took Interstate 80 all the way across to Ottawa, where we stayed at Starving Rock Campsite. We started near the western border of Iowa and to our campsite just outside Chicago, nearly reaching the eastern border of Illinois. This was the first campsite we reached where we were able to set up with plenty of daylight. The area was beautiful, and we were right on the Illinois River, which was nice, but not as relaxing as we had hoped. It was supposed to be a family campground with 10 p.m. quiet hours, but there was a literal rave happening the next tent site over, and there was no one to ask them to shut it down. So the party went on till around 3 a.m. Not a great night's rest for us. That's the thing with campsites. You just don't know how it's going to turn out, and people come in all types of sounds. Also, the tent sites weren't that great, so we'll skip this one if we ever come back this way again. But the sky was beautiful, and the trees were beautiful, and there was almost a tropical feel to the place because of the high humidity. And you know I love a river. Look at that beautiful Illinois River. Well, that's going to be it for this trip, folks. I do hope that you enjoyed it and that you will like and subscribe, leave a comment, and come back. We'll see you next time. This is Accidental Vagabond.